Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Mills here for theindependent.com. Brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda. Zach Mayhew once again behind the camera. Jim Langen over here. Eric Williams over here. Tino Martinez has now moved from his director's seat to the baseball watching seat. So, okay then. We're going to talk some high school football here. That's all right, Tino. I understand. It's a big game. We're going to talk about high school football, as I said. We're going to start out by Senior High Pius game. That was a great football game. Great win for Senior High, striking quickly.
Yeah, a lot of big plays. It was surprising. I mean, you always talk about the spread offense for Grand Island and the speed they usually have. Don't think they really have that speed this year, but they were able to make some big plays against that Pius team. You had 65-yarder, a couple of them, 72-yarders. So they were able to do anything they really wanted against the Pius team, which, you know, I thought Grand Island was probably going to come out of that with a win, but I thought it would be a little more challenging than it turned out to be.
You know, what I would gather on this, you know, I've known the Grand Island staff for a lot of years, and what a good coaching staff, and organized, and they don't beat themselves, but, you know, they watch film, and I think they caught some things that other teams maybe didn't see.
Probably. That
was a weakness. And that's why you have those. I mean, you get one big play, that's something else.
I know.
But you get a couple big plays early, like they did. You notice something in film. You thought, hey, we're going to attack this area, and that's what's fun about coaching sometimes, you know. And I'll tell you another thing, guys. Is sometimes when you're 1-6, and it's tough just to find a way to get a first down.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it really is. When you're coaching, you go, hey, you know, we got to find a way to get a couple first downs. And so sometimes that's your job. You know what I mean? So as a coach, sometimes it's going, hey, you know, we can find a way. I'm going to draw somebody off sides. I'm going to help my team. So, you know, hats off to Central Catholic this week. They're playing Lakeview, and they competed very well all the way back and forth on the field. They had 20-minute games, but you know what? They competed, and they let them know, hey, we're here to play. They hit hard, and it was an entertaining game. Instead of, you know, sometimes the games go to 47-0, and by, you know, everybody's kind of done, you know. So, I mean, but I went back to the Grand Island Senior High, though, is, you know, that was a huge win for them for some playoff points. Yeah. This thing's going to open up a little bit, and we're going to find out. And I'll tell you what you don't want to do. You don't want to be the 8th or 9th seed in Class A.
Oh, no.
Because if you're 8 and 9, you might win a game. Guess who you get to play next?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Omaha North, and man, are they the real deal.
And you want to, you know, just going behind the curtain a little bit, because I did play for Senior High, but you've got a tough game this week. I mean, it's Bellevue East, not a great team, but it's conference week. It's conferences. I mean, parent-teacher conferences, to where school's not going on. So you've got to check. You got to mentally check yourself. You're going to be off schedule a little bit because you're going to be going early in practices. And I know Tomlin, you know, really puts an emphasis on this week, because you don't want to look forward, and they've got Lincoln Southeast. That's going to be a big game for them next week. But you've got to get your job done this week, and having these distractions of having a day off from school and having to physically get yourself to practice and not come from school to practice is a big thing. So they've got to be locked in this week against Bellevue East, at Bellevue East, and not let that one slip through.
And Kearney High got that win. You know, they played that Papillion team that was a 1-6 team, found a way to win, down 14-3 at halftime, came back 117-14. They played Omaha Creighton Prep.
Yeah.
And that's a huge game. What's interesting there is, if they both, Kearney and Grand Island, can win, and talking about Class A football, there's a good chance they could host a first-round game, both schools.
Isn't that so?
Would that be nice if both, for our area, Class A,
Yep.
to host, and both schools could host?
Especially with the top heavy that it is on that end.
That's exactly correct, yeah. And you know that Lincoln, like you said, Lincoln Southeast, Grand Island game's huge, and looking ahead, you know, Creighton Prep and Kearney's a big game.
Yeah.
Let's talk Class B real fast. How about the win Grand Island Northwest had?
Well, I think they were down by 19 points, 17-7. I think Tino said early on, and boy, did they ever have the fireworks from a sophomore's arm. Carter Terry went through for, I think, 406 yards. Matter of fact, he was 23 yards away from the Class B single game record set by Vinny over at Hastings. So that's a heck of a night for a sophomore, and that's not the first time that's happened for Northwest. You know, they've had the Rose kid and Christian Ellsworth, but man, that's a great comeback win. Northwest, if they win one game, they've got, what, Aurora and York left.
Yep.
Eric, do you think if they win one game, they're going to make in the playoffs? I do, but I'm not sure.
I think you got to look at at the competition, you look at the wild card points and that strength of schedule. If you could beat one of those two teams, that's going to be a big win, wild card points wise and things like that. To where I think they would get a chance. I mean, it's going to be a tough one. Obviously, they go to Aurora, and then they've got York coming here, and I think obviously Northwest and Aurora. I mean, that's going to be. You know, the rivalry, like the Red River rivalry that we had with Oklahoma, Texas. That's kind of how Aurora Northwest is. So that's going to be a big game to play. I think the best chance they're going to have is probably that York game at home.
I do too. I remember one night in 2012 when Zach Rose was the quarterback. They go over to Aurora and win 54-0. And I had to sit there for a half hour after the game, couldn't even drive.
What happened in districts, though?
Yeah, and who do they get?
I remember that as well.
Oh. You know, another thing kind of interesting, right now we're at the point in class C1, C2, B and A, there are basically 19, 20 schools playing for the 16 spots. We've got far enough in the season. Other people are mathematically eliminated.
Yep.
It's down to these, and so there's some key games. But what's really critical is some of these teams that are like 2 and 5, if they can win last week and go 3 and 5, you're gonna help out the team that beats you to the play. So what's really great about high school football is all the games still matter.
Yes,
if you're a 2 and 5 team and you're playing somebody else 2 and 5, man, I'll tell you what, some of your biggest fans are going to be somebody that you played earlier, and they're going to be calling up on the phone, giving you all kinds of film. Hey, here's a play that I think you can run, you know, and you're cheering for each other. It's kind of nice about high school football when it gets into that some of these people continue to win or help each other out.
That's what I love about it. Should we look at the Class A, B, C, C1 and C2 playoff picture?
Let's look at C1 and C2 a little bit.
Let's look at it because that's...
Ord's going to be playing Lakeview last game of the season.
Well,
I think that's going to be one of those games where we were talking about maybe playing, the loser's probably out, winner's probably in.
Yep.
You know, neither one is going to probably host.
Where's that at?
That game's at Ord.
At Ord?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just looking at, you know, some of the area teams that you're talking about, C1. We're looking at teams that are just, you know, because some are going to get in for sure. Wilmar Clatonia is going to get in. I mean, we got some people that are going to get in. We already know that. You know, I think Doniphan Trumbull just won their district probably. You know, they beat St. Cecilia and they beat Southern Valley, isn't that correct?
Yeah.
So if that happened, they're probably going to win out and win their district. Now, they do have, I think, maybe Gibbon. Do they have Gibbon?
They have Gibbon this week,
Well, yeah, so they have to be Gibbon, and Gibbon's getting healthier. They got some kids coming back. So I think Gibbon's going to say, hey, hold it, don't count us out yet.
What about St. Paul? Where do you think they stand right now in that?
Well, I think they're going to have to beat Central City.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think if they don't, I mean, they could maybe sneak in, but it looks like to me they're going to be like 17, 18 with the loss.
Yeah.
If they win, they might be all the way down to about 11. You know, but they just it's kind of a weird deal. There's so many close teams in there. You don't, and you got to count on your hangers.
Yeah.
You know, some of the people that are your hangers, if they all win, you get all these points. You know, there's a lot of
Centennial games. That's going to be a tough one.
Great point.
To come back to, especially when you had that lead late in that game. That could haunt you if that Central City game doesn't turn out the way you want it.
And in Class C1, this is ironic. I have nothing against Douglas County West, but they could get in, and both SCOTUS and Norfolk Catholic, who played for the state C1 title last year, might not get in.
Yeah, you're right about what really happened this year was bizarre how they set the districts up. There's one in Class B. I don't have it in front of me, but there's a Class B district where like Columbus, I think, might win it.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I mean, they're going to have a losing record maybe, or, you know, or the reason they're going to have a winning record is they beat a lot of teams that are 1-7. But, you know, I mean, so you get into that picture, you know. I'll tell you a team in C1 that I think's kind of a sleeper, you guys, is Kearney Catholic.
Oh.
You know, they lost to a good team. We have no idea how good that team they played in Wichita, Kansas was, but I've heard they were really good. But they're beating people really bad.
They're sitting at 5 right now.
Yeah, but they're beating people that are really, really not very, I mean, so they're beating people, everybody else is beating them just a touchdown, and they're beating them, you know, 5 or 6 touchdowns, and, you know, and they're not finishing the game because they're not running up the score. You know, so I mean, so Kearney Catholic could be a real offensive sleeper where they can score some points. And, you know, and like you said, you know, you're talking about some really good teams in that Columbus SCOTUS area and stuff. And look at Boone Central, how they've come back again.
There's a team that could get it. They play somebody the last game of the year, too. Is it they have a big game, and Adams Central and SCOTUS is a big one for SCOTUS. I think Boone Central's got,
Can't remember who they
I
are.
don't know,
Yeah, Central Catholic's the
okay,
last
that's
one.
good, they could get in too.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
right now
they're right in
dangerous.
there. All those teams, again, we're talking about St. Paul but I'll tell you what, let's talk about Central City a little bit, what they've done lately. Like Central City, I mean, they have really played well. They've got some key wins. Maybe they're the real deal. Maybe they've gotten better. And, maybe that, you're sitting there going, oh, man, I hope we can beat Central City. But maybe Central City in this area is a really good high school football team.
Yeah, I think they've really come back strong, and they had those down years big time for sure early on. But yeah, like you said, they've kind of snuck up. Another one that you brought up, Kearney Catholic in C1. I look at O'Neill. I'd really like to see how O'Neill does.
You said that, Bobby, from the get-go.
Yeah,
And you know those kids over there, O'Neill, pretty well. But you're right, O'Neill's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the real deal. That O'Neill team's a real deal. The thing that is, and I'm just going to make this real quick, and I don't want to, it's just an opinion I have, and it's based on some
And
facts.
it's a valued opinion, ladies and
Is
gentlemen.
Elkhorn South
Yes.
looks really, really good to me. Omaha North looks really, really good to me. And you know what? I think C1 and C2 may be wide open.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know who's going to.
you're right.
I don't have an opinion on that one yet.
Obviously, you've got Wilbur Claytonia at the top of C2, and then you've
Yeah.
got the two Wahoo teams at
Yeah.
the top of C1. But yeah, I agree. I think they're, barring injury, I don't think anyone really can beat Omaha North, and I don't think Elkhorn South can be beaten. I think Elkhorn was probably the closest team, and they proved that they couldn't do it when they got annihilated last week too. So I agree with you. I think C1, C2 is really going to be fun. D1, D2, the 6-man or the 8-man games, those are going to be fun ones to watch as well.
And Wilbur Claytonia could be that good. I know they beat St. Cecilia 42-0. And I think Central City beat St. Cecilia like 42-3.
Yeah.
But when you compare those two scores, it might have been St. Cecilia when they played them.
Yeah.
They were still thinking, hey, hold it, we got a pretty good football team right here. And then St. Cecilia, right now they're going, hey, they still think they're good. They got some really good athletes over there. They got a couple of really good players that should be all state.
Yeah,
maybe.
graduates up
But
there.
yeah, he's a really good quarterback. But the thing of it is that they just their schedule really peaked out with. But Sutton, with them losing this week,
They
that
might
was
not make the
that
playoffs.
was a surprise to me when I saw that score. I wasn't dumbfounded, I guess, but it surprised me a little.
And I'll tell you something.
Is that right? Sutton's quarterback. I've just heard from the
Oh,
producer.
okay.
Sutton quarterback.
Yeah, you can't. And I've got two things to say. You don't want to draw Kearney Catholic. I don't know what Ron asked SCOTUS 2 years ago. That's a bad draw for anybody. That's a good football team. And Wilbur Claytonia, this just in, they are human. UTAN's ahead of them at halftime last week.
Okay, there you go.
If that Central City Wilbur Claytonia game ever comes up,
It's gonna be-
they're human in Wilbur.
Like I said, it's really exciting, and A's going to be exciting too. Elkhorn South and Omaha North, it's still exciting because you get a chance to play them. Maybe they'll turn the ball over a few times. Maybe
Scott gave Elkhorn South a game, and Millard North, now that they're rolling, could give Omaha North a game if they need.
You could definitely have a Hoosiers moment, that's for sure,
Right.
in either of those. So
All right.
Boy, and the football play, one more week after this coming Friday, and that's all the regular season high school football. Moment of silence, but no. And then after
Should we
that,
talk about 8-man 1? You got anybody in 8-man 1 or 8-man 2 you guys want to talk about? Is there any team in here? I got Elm. I'm going to get to referee the Elm Creek versus Alma game.
good. Oh, there's two good football teams.
And they're one team 6-1. They got beat 31-30 on the last second field goal, and it was a game they turned the ball over a bunch of times. Alma felt they should have won. And then and Elm Creek's undefeated, so I'm looking forward to working an 8-man game. That'll be fun.
BDS is good down
Yeah.
in Bruning, down in Port Chickley. And I like Lawrence Nelson. I like that football team. I like the coach. But Palmer, thank you, Tino. Hats off. I hope they go a long way. But yeah, that's Elk. I saw Elm Creek play last year. That's a fantastic football team. Very well coached.
And then the Loops. You got Twin Loop and South Loop.
Yeah.
They're both for real.
Yep, Mike Koziel of a Twin. Yeah.
South Loop's at Callaway Army.
Callaway
Yeah,
Army.
they got a good football team.
Yes,
so
they
yeah,
do.
8-man's exciting in there. It always has been.
I know. Oh, it's all coming up shortly. 2 weeks to playoffs start. So, geez, I could talk about high school football all day, but we can't. We got to exit here. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. We'll be back next week on Bobby Mills Independent Sports Talk. Eric Williams, Mr. Lang, I'm going to call him over there. Zach Mayhew behind the camera. Tina Martinez sitting over there in the director's chair, back in the director's chair. Cornhusker Toyota will be back to sponsor us again. Until then, see you next time.